loss to property that they have suffered. And so we're going back to the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, where Hafiz Tijani is still on standby, bringing us live pictures from that ravaging fire. Hafiz, thank you so much. You have been doing a good job all morning. Kudos to you and the team there. But we're coming back to you. We want you to, at least for those who have just joined us, give us an appreciation of how devastating this fire has been, and if you are able to sum up the extent of damage so far caused, and then of course bring us up to speed with the authorities or individuals who have been there, and what concerns the traders have also been sharing with you.
Okay, so Nana, so currently we don't have any major firefighting on. The fire officers have told us that they have been able to control the fire, but we still have pockets of fire at some of the buildings. So the fire started from this part of the market, one of the buildings, behind one of the buildings, then spread to the container shops that are located down here, and then spread to the other building we are seeing over there. Because of the nature of the area is so congested and there are combustibles here, and the spread of the fire was so rapid and intense. So, and access was a very major issue for the fire officers. It was a major hinder for fire officers who were trying to locate even where the fire was spreading to be able to contain the spread. And that has been the concern that
Hello, Hafiz.
Unless
Hafiz.
Yeah, Nana, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, it's better now. We seem to be having some challenges. So if you can probably reposition yourself so that the communication is clearer.
Well, Nana, can you hear me now? Is it clear?
Yes, it's better. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I was talking about the challenge that the fire officers had to grapple with in the morning when they came, when the fire was still at its minor level. So before graduating to see the extent of the damage we are seeing right now, they were about access, and a problem. The officers also, even the and buildings over there, then to this building, which is currently burning and spreading to other parts of the market. So fire officers had to redeploy more fire engines from the fire stations, from the KGTR, from the Konfanochi, from the Konfanochi, from the Atonsu fire station, from the Mensha fire station, from Mampon fire station, from Ejisu fire situation. We even saw the water cannon of the Ghana Police Service also coming in with water to kind of control the situation here. But that effort yielded some fruits. But because of the nature of the fire, because of the extent of the fire, it was not so easy for the fire officers. But the fire officers were able to locate a fire hydrant at the Central Business District. Then they connected to the fire hydrant directly to get water, more water, to be able to contain the situation. So for now, we are seeing pockets of fire, although the fire is still spreading to parts of the container shops. But if you look at the congested area, you've seen that the fire has caused destruction to all the shops, the container shops. The camera can just show you that location there. The fire has just caused destruction to all the shops there, where you had people trading in different cosmetics products because of the nature of the situation or the nature of the items that are being sold here, the nature of the items that are being sold here, the combustibles were so many. The presence of the combustibles were so heavy. So the fire keeps spreading and spreading. So that is why you are seeing. So Nana, you can hear the blast and the explosions in there. We have gas cylinders, we have refrigerators, we have air conditioners in some of the buildings. And most of these buildings are used as warehouses to store some of these products. So you can imagine the extent of damage. I spoke to one trader a while ago who says that only yesterday he received some goods from his supplier, only to wake up this morning and hear about the fire incident. And before he even arrived here, everything of his have gone down because his shop has been affected, and that he is currently trying or struggling to even restart, thinking about how to restart his business. And that is the concern for other traders too. But for now, fire officers are still trying to bring the situation under full control, although they say they have been able to confine the fire.
Right, we'll come to the firefighting itself and how difficult or otherwise it was for the firefighters. But for the benefit of those of us who are not so familiar with this area,
again, some briefing from the the fire service, who had told us that they had to deploy more fire engines because of the nature of the fire. When they came initially, they thought that they could have contained the fire. But what they complained about was the access. And the traders themselves even reiterated the point. They say that city authorities are not doing so much to decongest the city. That is why access was a major issue. People were not having access to, or the fire service was not having access to these places to be able to control and contain the fire as quick as possible, leading to the spread of the fire. But for now, you can only see smoke and pockets of fire at some of the buildings. So the buildings that people were concentrating their efforts on to salvage their goods before their shops were affected, later people had to leave the scene because the fire was raging and they could not salvage their wares from the scene.
Right.
So we have some ambulances arriving here.
Yes, we do hear some sirens in the background. Can you help us understand what's happening?
Any casualty, they are able to dispatch any casualty. They are able to address or attend to that situation. But in the shops there, you can hear from where I am on the footbridge, the main footbridge of the Central Business District. You can hear the explosion and the blast due to the combustible materials that are present. So we are told that this is where people store their various products, cosmetic products, and they use that place as wholesale or warehouses, and because they are wholesalers. And this is where traders also are engaged in the retail business. So others come to retail and then go to also sell to their customers. But the wholesalers, most of them are the hardest hit in terms of, or as far as this incident is concerned. And that is the situation you are seeing here. So people are still here. Police officers are also here. We have a number of arrests. Several arrests have been made. People who are taking or trying to take advantage of the situation to also loot some items. They have been arrested. All of them are in the custody of the police. Maybe later we'll be getting an update from the Ghana Police Service on how many people they have arrested and what was their crime, why they were arrested.
Right.
And that is the situation here at the Central Business District of Adum. We are
Right.
bringing
We
you
also
a
see
special
another fire
report.
tender
So
coming in.
Another fire tender
Right.
is arriving right now. They have gone to refuel and they are coming in with more water to contain the situation. So you can hear the booing from the public. People are not so happy. Although the fire service say there are men, when we spoke to the regional commander, he says that his men have done a very good work in trying to contain the situation, and they are commending themselves that they have done a very good work. But people who are affected are seeing that if there was more efforts being made, they would have been able to control the situation. They would have been able to control the situation. So this fire tender is also coming in here to contain this part, the fire on this part of the market that is still raging.
Right.
And smoke billowing from this side of the
It appears that the crowd control or crowd management is also a problem.
Container shops, where you have concentrated container shops, congested area. In the congested area where you have people trading, but on the normal Friday you'd have seen that people are busily trading. But today is a different picture altogether. People are not trading. People are only counting their losses. People are devastated. People are traumatized because of this raging fire that is ongoing here at the center of the Central Business District, Adum.
Very well, Hafiz.
Fire officers still making efforts, so they are bringing some water hose to try and then douse this fire at this part of the market that is still raging. At this part of the market that is still raging, so the cameras can just get that in pictures. The efforts by the personnel of the fire service, coordinated efforts by the various security agencies. We have also personnel from the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, who are also helping in the firefighting efforts here to try and contain the situation. So the fire is being contained by the fire officers who have brought in a new fire tender, to try and then contain the situation. And that is the situation currently.
Very well. Hafiz. So currently another tender has been brought in by the Ghana National Fire Service.
So you can see the fire officers still trying to extend the water hose from the footbridge area so that they can get a very clear picture of where the fire is happening. A very clear picture of where the fire is happening, so they can get their hose there and then get the fire under control. The fire officers have taken their positions here on the footbridge. So this is where they will have a clear picture. Of the fire, which is still raging at some of the shops. And they are trying to contain that. So the fire officers have been devising a number of strategies from morning to now, with some efforts by other services.
Hello, Hafiz.
Or security services trying to help them. Nana?
Yes. We saw the fire officers on the footbridge. Now we've seen that they are moving elsewhere. I want to believe that they are looking for an elevated angle from which or from where to fire their water in a bid to combat the fire. But so is it that the fire is controlled at one end of the CBD, and then it's just where the containerized shops are that is currently being affected?
Well, so the fire is spreading. So the fire officers have also spread themselves to the other parts of where the fire is raging or is spreading to. So that is what is being done now. So these fire officers you see on the footbridge, they were trying to devise a method of getting to deal with the fire that is currently raging here. For the other side of the market or the other buildings, there are only pockets of fire. You can only see pockets of fire. But at this area where the fire is still raging, that is the concentration. That is where the concentration is. That is why we have seen the arrival of another fire tender. But the fire officers thought that they could just get the access points here to try and then get an elevated angle, like you said, to be able to douse the fire. But I think that didn't work out. So they are devising
it appears
strategy.
the distance from the footbridge to where the fire is might be a bit of a problem for the firefighters. I'm assuming the hose, or maybe perhaps the strength or the pressure to
exactly
pump out
the
water
hose
from the hose might not be
exactly,
enough.
Nana.
Hence their decision
Exactly,
to
Nana.
look for a different angle.
Exactly, Nana. Exactly,
Right.
Nana. Because if they mean to bring the hose just directly from the ground, from where the fire service tender is, or where the fire engine is, to the footbridge, they might not get the kind of pressure they want to, or the flow of water. So that is why I assume they have moved down to look for another location. So they have gone to that area. There's another entrance there. So they have succeeded in pulling their hose, the water hose, to that area of the that end of the building where the fire is raging. So that is where they are focusing on to be able to get to.
We see
be
other
able
buildings,
to
other
get the
structures
fire.
also there. Were any of these affected, or is the fire within where the container shops are?
Well,
Well, we see we'll work the lines and bring Hafiz back on. But currently, what you see on your screens are from early on, where the fire was at its devastating state, ravaging and raging through shops at the Central Business District in Adum, in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. You can see the flames and the plumes of smoke that were going up in the air from the Central Business District there. This morning, calls came in that fire had gutted the Central Business District of Adum in the Ashanti region, and so we've been bringing you live pictures since morning. Matter of fact, the fire took up the entire Breakfast Daily show this morning, and so for the traditional viewers of Breakfast Daily, you'd have to bear with us as we report on this disaster, which is currently still ongoing, actually, in the Ashanti region. Fire officers have been to the scene, have managed to contain the spread in certain parts. However, there's still pockets of fire, as has been reported by our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Hafiz Tijani. There's still smoke emanating from certain parts of the market. And so the fire officers have called for reinforcement. We've seen a tender or a fire engine come back after going to restock. And so it is our belief that it is looking for a vantage point from where to tackle the fire. Earlier on, the fire officer in charge of the operation addressed the media and identified access to the scene as the major challenge they were facing. And if you look at the area and the structures there, you would agree that assessing the fire, or accessing the fire rather, posed a bit of a challenge for the fire officers. The fire is currently ongoing. Like I mentioned, these are pictures from early on when the fire started, or when it gained momentum. You can see the extent of spread there. Hafiz Tijani, our Middle Belt Bureau Chief, is back on the lines. Hafiz, has the fire engine been able to position itself at a vantage point to begin fighting the fire, as we're seeing?
Yes, underneath the footbridge, they have found a place, and then they have extended the hose. They have extended the hose to one of the entrances leading to the congested area and the other building that was engulfed. So there's still fire at the top of that building, because there's more. Okay, so we have been told of an incident. What is happening? Okay, so the blast is still happening because of the nature of the items we have in that building.
Hafiz, we see a gentleman in there. Isn't it dangerous?
Yes,
for
that
this
is
person?
what I was trying to. Yes, that is what I was trying to draw attention to. We don't know what exactly is happening there. We don't know what exactly this person is doing there, but it's not so easy to get into this place, because that place has been burnt and it's still burning. You still have pockets of fire at these places, and people.
Okay, so the fire officers have begun tackling the fire now
and just moving through to the fire. So you see the top of that building there,
right?
It's still burning. It's still burning. So the fire officers. Okay, so I think that young man is trying to find a way out. That young man is trying to find a way out.
It's quite baffling what he will be doing in there. I mean, you can understand the pain of losing your property and all, but at this point, there's little or nothing to salvage, is there?
Try to make efforts. They are making efforts to quench the fire at this building, where you still have pockets of fire. So that is the destruction you see in pictures. The fire has left in its trail destruction of these container shops and this congested trading area, where people have erected their container shops to engage in retail trading. So this is where you find people who repair wristwatch, people who sell phone accessories, people who sell cosmetics or cosmetic products, people who sell second-hand clothing, and others who are engaging in other activities like pedicure and manicure and other activities here. It's still raging. The fire is still raging, and it has gotten to the other side of the building, where people salvage their buildings, their belongings from the buildings, and people are still trying to see that everything is brought under control. A lot of people are still trying to see that everything is brought under control. Wares and goods have been scattered here at the Roman Hill area of the Kumasi Central Market. People are also employing their ways to also try and then douse the pockets of fire by bringing water from some of the nearby shops to try and control the fire. The city is so congested. The city is so congested. The city is so congested. The city is congested. The city is so congested. People have come here to look at the extent of damage of what is happening here. Smoke has taken over the city because of the raging fire here at the Central Business District. So it's not so easy for people who have lost some items or whose shops were part of this destruction, it's not so easy for them. The fire started from one of the buildings here at the Central Business District, then to the container shops here, and then spread to the other building, a major building for that matter, which we are told has been used, part of it has been used as a warehouse to store some wares and some products. Some wares and some products here. Some wares and some products at the Central Business District here. The fire officers are still making efforts to control the situation.
Hello, Hafiz.
The fire officers are still making efforts to control the situation.
Hello, Hafiz.
They have been able to enter this area where they would want to contain the fire that is spreading within the location or the enclave where you have the container shops that have been erected here by retailers, traders who are engaging in retail activities and other works here or other activities here. So they are also not having the fire officers are not having it's easy, or it's not so easy for them to be able to access some of these places. And access has been a problem since morning. The fire service complained of access. The issue has also been reiterated by the national security officials, who say the access was a problem, though they were also trying to help the Ghana National Fire Service to contain the situation. So we have the Ashanti Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Fire Service to tell us, or to give us an update of what is happening. So what is happening currently?
Currently we are trying to contain the fire behind the main building, but accessibility is a challenge. So we've found ways and means to extend our hoses, the little spaces that are around. We're able to maneuver to get our tenders there to be able to fight the fire.
For now, it's only this part you are trying to contain, because we've seen that the fire has also spread to the other part of the building.
We are fighting it we realize that the fire is at different portions of the market. So we are not only this part, we have our tenders at the other part, which are also fighting the fire from there. So you can see from here that there's one tender that has been stationed here to deal with the fire here. The other sides to have tenders there. So all the 4 tenders that are here, including the turntable ladder, making it 5, are all at various positions trying to contain the fire there.
But for now, are you able to tell us the extent of damage?
I can't see specifically, but from what is at the background, you can see that it's extensive. That's affected greater parts of the area.
But apart from the accessibility, what is also making the firefighting efforts so difficult for your members, for your officers?
I think that is the main thing, the accessibility. And some of the people try resisting us in our attempt to try to salvage some of their items. They interfere with firefighting efforts. Initially, we also had challenges with water, but that has been resolved. We have some tenders, some tankers on hand to give us water. We've been able to also extend our hoses to the hydrants that are around to be able to ensure that we get constant supply of water to some of the tenders that have been positioned to fight the fire. So now it is the access that is the major issue.
In terms of percentage, how many percent would you say that the fire has been brought down? Like in terms of percentage, how will you put it?
In fact, I can say now that a lot of the fire is out. I may not be able to quantify it in terms of percentage, but we've done much of the work, and I'm sure very soon we'll be able to put it under control.
But the accessibility made it so difficult for you. But will you say this is one of the hectic situations you've gone through in fighting fire in the region, will you say, in this year?
Yes, in this year, this should be one of the hectic ones. One of the hectic ones we've experienced this year. But you can really see from the where the fire is that, in fact, access is a problem. It's a major problem. So at a point, the tenders had to be parked very far from where the fire is. We extend lengths of hoses, and these ones comes with frictional losses and water, its attendant water shortages and all that. So it's a challenge. Also, we just about 1 or 2 people, I understand, suffered some minor injuries, including a fireman and 1 civilian who have suffered some.
1 fire officer and a civilian.
A civilian has suffered some injuries. And
where are they now?
They are with the ambulance service. The ambulance service is also on hand to attend to the injured.
What happened exactly?
I don't have that information as to exactly what happened, but the fireman suffered some injury to his leg. Okay, so the civilian also had some debris falling on his head, and he was rushed to a nearby hospital. But the fireman suffered some injury on his leg, and he has been attended to by the ambulance service.
But did you get the cooperation you wanted from the public when you came here?
So like I indicated initially, we had some people resisting us initially, and others were also trying to salvage their items, and that was also affecting the firefighting efforts. And now we have the police also on hand to provide some order, and we are able to get free access to be able to fight the fire. Some are also helping us to be able to fight the fire.
But I know investigations have started.
Yes. Investigations have started, but I can't say anything now until we have good information on what actually led to the fire.
All right, so that's Mr. Adair, Peter Adair. He's with the Ghana National Fire Service. Yes, Nana.
Yes, I was looking for if you could ask him about the number of tenders currently on hand, how many men or fire officers they had available, and what the approach to the firefighting is, taking into consideration the direction of the wind and the spread of the fire and all that.
Okay, so you mentioned about the fire tenders that are scattered all over at the vantage locations. How many are here?
We have 4 fire tenders and a turntable ladder, making 5. So 5 fire tenders are currently on ground.
You have enough men?
We have enough men to fight the fire.
But what's the approach now? I could see that you tried several approaches trying to fight the fire. What's the approach now? What approach are you using?
A little bit correction. We have 5 fire tenders, 5 fire tenders on the ground, and a turntable ladder. So like I told you, the fire is not at one place. They are spread to other areas. So we have positioned the tender such that they can fight the fire and contain it. I get me. So you can see that we have circled around the area and positioned them at vantage points, and they are fighting it.
Okay. All right. So Nana, so that's Mr. Ade responding to the questions. He says that they have enough men and they have been positioned at the other ends of the market where the fire, or where you are having the fire here at the Central Business District. But we are having the formed police unit. Earlier, they came with the water cannon to also help out in dousing the fire, and that actually helped in containing the fire at this section of the market before the fire tender coming in with the refilled water to also continue with the efforts here. And I can see the water cannon coming back again. The water cannon has come back again to try and help in the effort. So the water cannon, they are here for 2 purposes. So they are here to control the crowd, to leave the fire scene if they don't have anything doing here, to allow the fire officers the comfort and the ease to do their work, and also to help with the water to try to contain the fire situation.
If possible,
But
let's have
you
the
still
cameraman
pockets of
show us pictures of that, so we can see the water cannon and all that it's doing.
So the water cannon is at the other side, trying to control the crowd. So the police were having difficulty. The police were having difficulty in controlling the crowd because people have come here. People are not willing to disperse from the scene. The police tried its best to try to get the people out of the place or out of the streets to allow the fire officers do their work. But later on, they had to call in the military. So we saw military officers here at the footbridge where we currently are standing. The military officers had come here to clear all of the people, the bystanders who had taken over the footbridge, not allowing access for the fire service personnel to do their work. But all of them have been cleared. And we saw also some personnel from the Ghana Prisons Service, the Ghana Immigration, as well as the NADMO trying to help out to control the situation. So the water cannon has come back again, and it's going to also help try to douse the fire here. So pockets of fire still here. So that engine that came here is moving away. The water is empty now. It's moving away, and the water cannon is coming to continue with the efforts here at this part of the market.
Are you able to gauge how long it takes for an engine to go restock water and come back?
Well, I didn't put my mind to that. Yeah, Nana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yes, I didn't put my mind to that, but so because of how the fire is spreading, more water needs to be pumped into the targeted areas,
right,
to ensure that it is controlled. So the fire is not a straightforward thing. It's spreading to shops and all that. So you see the top of that building, the explosion is still happening. It has burned from the first floor of the building, and it's now at the upper floor of that building, and that area is now being consumed. And that area, access to that area is very difficult. So the efforts now is where you have the congested areas, where you have these containers erected. So the water cannon is being directed. They are trying to find a way of dousing this particular fire that you can see in shots now. The water cannon is being redirected to at least get that fire off so that this portion can be done. Then the fire officers can also go to the other side of that building to contain the fire at the top of that building. So that is what is being done currently. So you see the police officer directing the water cannon to move towards this direction to get it to use the water after going to refill. So the water cannon has started, though not getting a very nice position because of the structures, how the structures are situated here.
Right.
The structures are just so scattered. The settlement here is so scattered.
It's blocking the path of the water from the water cannons.
Of the water, exactly, Nana. Exactly, Nana. So the driver is being redirected. The driver is so the driver is getting that. Okay, just turning to get it very well. But because of the nature of the structures, we were told by the deputy regional security coordinator that they were going to bring in bulldozers to pull some of the structures to allow for more access.
Right.
So a gentleman has just tried to remove the roofs of one of the. Okay, so the water cannon is. It's missing the point.
It's missing the target.
It's missing the point.
Now it's firing beyond the wall.
Beyond the wall because of the access. So if there were these bulldozers coming in to at least get the structures out, access would have been more.
If you're able to look beyond the footbridge, what is behind the wall? Are people there? Just so that we're sure that no one is being fired with the water.
Well, no. So that place has been cordoned off.
Right.
That place has been cordoned off. That place has been cordoned
Very
off,
well.
and there are military and police stationed there. There are military and police stationed there. That place has been cordoned off. You don't have.
So this place
you
will
don't have
be
any-
underneath the footbridge, if I'm correct.
Yes, underneath, and yes, exactly, Nana.
But this is where
Exactly,
the engine
Nana.
had
Underneath-
stationed itself to be able to attack the fire. The fire engine that came earlier.
Yes. Yes. Underneath the feed bridge. So
Right.
they try to pull the hose to enter the water hose to enter into one of the entrances at the place, and they were able to bring down the fire, the pockets of fire. But just that the situation or the water got finished, so they had to go back. The water got finished, they had to go back. So that is the situation, and that informed the decision to bring in the water cannon. And the water cannon has come to replace the efforts of the fire engine. The fire engine has just moved. The fire engine has moved and it has gone to refill and come back. But the water cannon is now doing the work now, but not getting the target because of the access. And this is the major challenge in fighting this fire. Access. That is what traders are talking about. That is what the fire service themselves are talking about. That is what the national security officers who have been deployed here to monitor the situation are also talking about, Nana.
And unfortunately, the water cannon is not like that of the hose of the fire service. That
The hose
allows
of the-
for easy
yeah, so-
targeting.
Exactly. Redirecting it is very, very, very difficult. So people are now saying that the water cannon should focus its efforts to the building, that building over there, because there's still fire raging in that building. And you see the smoke billowing from the incident. It's also making it difficult for visibility. So they are not able to see clearly at a very far point to be able to target the fire as it should be targeted. And so that's the target. So people are now telling the police to redirect their efforts to that building, which we are told are used as warehouses to store some of these products, these cosmetic products here, which are reigniting the fire. So the water cannon is still trying. So I think the direction is being gotten now. They are getting the target.
Right. It
Not
looks
so well,
better.
Nana. Not so well. Not so well. But the pockets of fire are being contained. The pockets of fire.
From where I sit, I want to believe it's the same with you. That is, if you are facing where the fire is, the building to your right, occasionally we see some flames going up. Is this as a result of the explosions you're seeing?
And the blast, Nana, yes, exactly. It is the building we are told that has been used as a warehouse.
A warehouse, right.
Yes, warehouse, not one warehouse, several of them, where you have the wholesalers storing or stocking their products there, so that when these retailers come, they come to buy from them. So all these container shops you see here, most of them are retailers who are dealing or who are engaged in retail activities in terms of the cosmetic products. So they buy from these wholesalers and they come over to sell to their customers. So that is the building that is currently and Nana, you know the Hello FM building, the building that houses the Hello FM.
Hello FM, yes.
That building has also
been affected.
That building has also been. Yes, it has been engulfed now.
Ooh, too bad.
It has been engulfed now.
Too bad.
People are telling the police to redirect their efforts there.
It just started on that building.
Yes, initially it started, but the fire officers were able to control the situation. Nana, the blasts Nana, the blast, the explosion.
Exactly.
You can hear in the background.
Exactly. And so that's when you see the flames going up in the air when there's an explosion.
Yes. In the air. So the water cannon is coming out to redirect its efforts to the other place. Okay,
Right.
so we are told that the Hello FM building is not part of it is affected, but the next building to the Hello FM building, that is where you have the fire been raging. That is why the fire is so serious. And this building where efforts are being called for to be sent there is that building where we are told has been used for a number of warehouses. And people are saying that the police and the fire service should go there and try and contain the situation. So they have been able to deal with the area here where the container shops are, because the damage has been caused at this portion already. But this other side is getting worse, and the people are calling on the fire service, the police, and the other agencies to try and then redirect their efforts and focus to that particular building where you are having the explosions happening sporadically to contain this fire.
Very well.
And it's a very, 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 very serious situation today.
Indeed it
Even the
is.
fire service
And just
has
so our
admitted.
viewers can appreciate what they are seeing, I mean, thick smoke, plumes of smoke there in your shot, and occasionally you see the flames going up in the air. We just want viewers to understand that this is a building which you have described has been converted into several warehouses, and the flame that they see going up is as a result of the explosion in there. Is this correct?
Yes, Nana. Yes, Nana. Yes, Nana. So, Nana, for those who know Kumasi very well, so from KNUST,
Right.
from KNUST, you look up, you are able to see smoke, thick smoke billowing in the air. And,
Yes, so
and
just
that's
like
the
I was saying,
extent you find
this
it.
flaring up is as a result of the explosion, the blast of products within
Yes.
this building.
Exactly, Nana. Exactly, Nana. Exactly. And that is what is drawing more attention. So, fire officers, another fire engine is going to the other side of that building because
Right.
they don't have, or they cannot have access here due to the nature of this area. They have moved over there. We'll be going there to give viewers a very clear view of what is happening. They have redirected their efforts there, trying to move to that area. A fire engine has just been dispatched to that place. Try and then bring down the fire. Try and bring down the fire. So that area is now the focus. They have been able to confine the fire at this place. They are redirecting their efforts and focus to the other area where the fire is raging in that building,
Right.
which we are told are being used for several cosmetics warehouses here. So the fire engine has just come to this place. People are here, onlookers, victims, passers-by, bystanders, what you can call them. People are standing here. People are not trading on a normal Friday, but people are watching fire burn their wares and all that. So fire officers have just arrived here with another engine. Another engine.
Right.
Another engine tried to contain. So you see the incident there. People have tried to salvage their wares and all that. But for the unlucky ones, they were unable to salvage. They were not able to salvage anything from their shops. The shops have been burnt, and people are traumatized. People are devastated. It's not an easy Friday for people who are trading into the so a victim is not happy. A victim is not happy. Some are crying. Some are crying. So you see the incident. The police is trying to the police is trying to disperse the crowd here.
We don't have fire service.
So
There is no fire service in this country. A gentleman said, I'm at 4 o'clock. Now fire service. I go protect matters. I fear I say 3. I see here from down to toe. I say I feel claustrophobic.
Enkasa.
I feel claustrophobic. Almost a uniform. Almost a uniform. Containment uniform. I bet you know somewhere faster before. It's annoying. This thing is annoying. And yet, remember, your young SOM and Bisono, a bit of course, I said, I just started at 4 o'clock. I'm at 4 o'clock. This time, about 11:45. I go about 12. I've 5:74 on my bus at market. The big tunnel. About 7 no. I don't know what say. Fire service cars, back 1 quarter. I'm going to Hello FM. After them, somewhere say, Mianu. I said, Garden, uncompleted central market. Baby, matter, I will never rest. Son of a Cassa. I'm protected, uncompleted project, which is central market. And I'm protected. I press I just back 1 quarter. I press I just back 1 quarter. I press I just back 1 quarter. And to me, I say, from down to door, first I could be a sweat to say, I don't for. I took a course. I said to me, Yanana, Cassa. Yanni come for Cassa. And there goes a center of Jana time. Nana, when you want Mr. Manuka Suminaso, Nana Cassa. If it's any come for, yes, and 12. Say the crosser, or Baba Soria, and if I yes and 12. Moyamosona Cassa. And Jano, Yananum, and I see Jano. His from Matian say, Yanana. About penny, as Jacobi said, Joey. Said Jonathan, and Jato, no, you come for, no, you come for, and some for you, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's a frustrated victim.
Clearly.
Venting his frustrations here. Venting his frustration. He's not happy about the development here. He has lost some items here, and that is drawing his frustration, and that is making him very, very, very unhappy about this situation. But the effort is now on this building, this particular fire officers trying to deploy more fire engines. So another engine is coming from the other side to try and then augment the efforts here. That is being done by one of the engines that arrived earlier on.
Right. And then we can see the challenge. Now its way is being blocked.
Access. So you see how people have really packed. Drivers are so adamant to even move their vehicles. The fire officers are still trying. The fire officers are still trying to make their way here with the fire tender, but it's not easy. People are also standing unperturbed. People have put their wares in the middle of the streets. People are standing unperturbed. They don't care. They care that there's a siren, there's something that is alerting them to give way for an emergency service to come in and then conduct its operation. People are just so adamant, just looking unperturbed and unconcerned. That is the attitude you find here, Nana.
Well, I'm not too sure why people will want to do that. Is it that it's a way of protesting against the fire service, or is it that they've lost so much, they've given up on hope? I am not too sure what is happening, but then of course it is important to create access for the fire tender to be able to come in and at least help douse the fire and save whatever it is that is left of the building. Now, Hafiz, within this area, I want to believe that there's a building that also is housed by the people that deal in electricals. Was this also affected? There's one building in this area where the electricals people operate from. If you know this building, are you able to tell whether it's been affected or not?
Okay, so before I'll respond to your question, people are booing at the fire service. They are not happy that though fire service, the regional commander says he told us that his men have done a very good job in confining the fire, but because of the raging nature of the fire, people are still seeing that their effort is less. They should have done more to try to stop the spread of the fire, but they are trying their best, bringing in and out some fire tenders, trying to contain the fire completely. But they are facing a challenge of accessibility, a challenge of people obstructing their duties, and also people not just giving them the chance, not giving them the support they want to be able to do their work. But the fire officers are also not perturbed. They are also focused. Their focus is to douse the flame and all that. So to your question, Nana, where this I've seen one electrical shop where they deal in several electrical gadgets. That was gutted. At the building that is next to the Hello FM building. FM building. So that building has been gutted. But on this building, you have this building that is currently the focus. You have a number of trading activities going on there. People sell different wares, different products, and different and are engaged in different activities.
Well, so clearly the concentration is on this building now. Do we know what is happening on the other side?
Okay, so the other side, from where I am, I can see the other side. I can see that another fire engine has moved to that area.
Right. Another
fire engine has moved to that area because that building next to Hello FM, where we are told the fire started from, that building, there are also pockets of fire. So fire at that place. So they have spread. They have the water cannon that was here and has been able to contain the pockets of fire at this place has been able or has moved to that area. So these two fire tenders that arrived here are also concentrating on that particular building. We are hearing sirens all over. So if you hear the siren, it's either the ambulance or the fire tender. So we are seeing the arrival of another fire tender at the scene that is going towards the building next to the Hello FM building.
So at this
access
point
is another challenge.
Right, so at this point, it's a joint effort between the various security agencies, the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service. You earlier mentioned Ghana Prisons. We have the ambulance service also on standby. National security is there. And you say the military has been called in to help with the crowd management.
Exactly, Nana. It has been coordinated efforts among the various agencies since morning. When we arrived here. So they have been helping the fire service. So the military, we're told that the military also have their ambulance. We're told that they also brought in, fire engine.
Right.
They brought that to also help. We had that confirmation from the Ghana National Fire Service. They said that the military came in with their fire engine to be able to contain the fire. So at this side of the market where the incident is happening, the situation has calmed down. Just that you are seeing debris or remnants or the destruction that has been suffered by these shops, by the fire. But the concentration is on that building where we are told are used as warehouses. That is where the concentration is, because you still have explosions coming at the top of that building.
From that building.
So unconfirmed, unconfirmed reports we are picking up suggest, though we cannot independently confirm. We're told that at that building where we are hearing that explosion, they sell weapons there. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah,
but this is not confirmed.
Weapons there.
This is not confirmed.
Yes, we can't independently. We can't independently confirm that. But this is what you hear from people who are here. So when some of these incidents happen, people have a lot to say. So
exactly,
you just have to be careful.
This building that is currently
there are combustibles.
Right. So this building that is currently affected, where the concentration of the firefighting or the firefighters is, how many floors is this building? And then, of course, how big is it? Because it looks as though more effort is needed to douse the fire there.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we have about 50 shops. We have over 50 shops in that building, that particular building.
So is this a 2-story or a 3-story building?
Yeah, 2-story.
2-story building, right?
2-story,
right?
Yes, 2-story building. Yeah, 2-story building.
So you have the ground floor and the first floor, and both floors are currently on fire.
And you know, most of the shops are also divided.
Okay.
Yeah, they are divided into two. So you have 2 people occupying one shop, but they have been partitioned, and people are occupying and engaging in retail activities and all that. So that is the concentration now. The fire officers are taking their concentration there to be able to contain the spread of the fire. But trading activities within the Central Business District, Nana, has come to a halt on a Friday.
Do we know if... I mean, we had a gentleman who just spoke, mentioned that the fire started at about 4 a.m., but that is his account.
Yeah.
Do we know if trading had started this morning and has to come to a halt because of the fire, or trading people did not open their shops at all when the fire started?
So, Nana, for the Central Business District, for those who sell second-hand clothing, even sometimes at 3 a.m. when you come here, you find people here starting their day. So some of these shops where they have or they use as their warehouses for the people who sell the second-hand clothing, they were here. But for other shops where they sell phone accessories and other items like the cosmetic products, you find people coming in maybe in the morning, like 8 a.m., coming to open their shops. So most of those ones were not in when the fire started. But for the traders who trade on pavement, sometimes it's first come, first serve.
Yes.
Some people come to just take over the pavement. So people who are able to report early are able to secure a space.
Right.
So for those traders, they come as early as 3 a.m. Sometimes you move through the Central Business District, you see that people are already setting up. For those who don't have permanent or lockable shops, already coming out to set up their businesses on the pavement to start their trading activity. But people with lockable shops, sometimes they come from 7 a.m. and from 7 a.m. to start their trading activity. And so
for the traders who operate from the pavements, and then of course the second-hand clothing people, we all know, I mean, the first selection people, they must have witnessed it when the fire started.
Exactly, Nana. Exactly, Nana. And most of them had to place calls to the fire service, who also deployed their men here.
Right. We've seen that the police water cannon vehicle has come back.
Yes. It's trying. There are pockets of fire at this concentrated area. So it's trying to... Access is still a problem. The water cannon is not able to target the fire directly.
Exactly. It's not as flexible as the hose of the fire service. So it will be difficult to do proper targeting. And this is the concern.
Wow,
exactly. This is the concern I was raising earlier regarding whether people were behind the wall, and when the cannon begins to spray, people won't be hit.
No, okay. So
and this is what has just happened.
That is the other side of the park here where
Yes.
people had
Yes,
salvaged and evacuated their.
Yes. This is where the vehicle was earlier before moving to its current position. And that was my concern
Yes,
earlier
yes,
when
exactly.
it was spraying beyond the wall, whether people won't be hit by the water coming from its
Yes.
cannons. Yes, and now that
Exactly, Nana.
it's come round to the
Safety.
other side, it is now hitting the people who have taken over its previous position.
Yes, yes, yes. So the water cannon is now getting the target.
Right, right. Because
been able
that
to
particular
get the
shot
target.
just behind the wall still had fire in it.
Yes, behind the wall,
Yes.
fire in it, exactly. And that is the concentration. Okay, so the target has been met now, the water cannon. So we're told by the security officers that they were going to bring some of these drip machines, the bulldozers, to be able to
At least create some access.
Yes, but till now we have not seen anything like that. We don't know what is happening. We've not seen anything like that. We were waiting to see if we could get access, or getting them to break this wall, this particular wall. That is, the water cannon could have done a very good job by spraying
Exactly.
the area very well. Yes.
Yes, because it's got a lot of force in the water that it's spraying. So if there's a proper targeting,
Yes.
then it will do a better job, I think.
A better job because of the pressure it comes with.
Exactly. I think the fire is still coming back up with the shop just behind the wall. Is it?
Yes, there's still fire. There's still fire in that. There's still fire in that. So that is the concentration by the police trying to get this thing. Trying to get the targets or the
Right.
fire. So the water cannon has moved forward. It is just close to the wall.
Yes,
So if the
yes.
bulldozers were here to break down the wall, there would have been enough access for the water cannon to even douse the pockets of fire that are still contained at this section.
At this section of the
contested
market.
section of the incident area. And that is the difficulty the police is also finding,
Right.
trying to get this done. But
Th- this,
Nana,
this-
I must commend the coordinated efforts by our security services.
Right.
I must commend them. There's been this coordination today. I've seen the police is coordinating with the fire service, the military, immigration, the Ghana prisons service, and also the ambulance service also. Because we've seen some ambulances that were brought in here. We're told some casualties were recorded, 2 people, 1 civilian and another fire officer. We are told they've been taken to the hospital. We'll be getting an update from the Ghana ambulance or the National Ambulance Service to tell us what is the state of these people. And the coordination today was just perfect, and that is why what we are seeing today by our military officers who are trying their best to contain the situation. So we are not experiencing, or I'm not hearing that blast again,
Right.
or that explosion again. But there's still fire in that building.
In the
at
building,
the top of
right.
that building.
Earlier
Meaning
I was
that
asking.
the fire officers at that end are also making some efforts, trying to control the situation.
Right.
The fire officers are making a lot of effort trying to contain
Right.
that situation.
So I mean,
But for
we are
people
not experts. We
for
are not.
the people.
Hello,
For the
Hafiz.
people who at least have come here to watch the situation, it's not so easy for them. It's not so easy.
Right.
It's
Hafiz.
not so easy for them.
Hafiz.
Yeah, for the people who are here to watch the situation, it's not so easy, especially with the victims who are coming here to watch. So people are talking about how the Ghana National Fire Service should be
Hafiz.
resourced. People are saying that the Ghana National Fire Service should be resourced because with this kind of issue where the Ghana National Fire Service was having challenge in trying to get access, there could have been drones or maybe helicopters
A helicopter,
that could be used
yeah.
to fight the fire. People are calling or this incident is reminding duty bearers and stakeholders to at least consider some of these mechanisms in terms of proactive or in terms of the advanced way of fighting fire. So we are seeing the drip equipment, like I told you, Nana, the drip equipment, the equipment arriving with water to help. So the water cannon will need water. More fire engines that are being deployed here will also need water. So the drip has just brought in water. The drip machine or the drip tank water to supply to these services to the driver on how you can connect to water to these fire engines, to be able to get this done, bring the fire under control. So that building, there's still fire in that building. So you can see water flying. The fire officers, I think they have moved the turntable ladder, which was stationed at one of the areas, to that place. And then the fire is coming down. There are efforts to contain the situation. So the water there, flowing there at the other end of the building, which is just close to the Roman Hill area. For those who know Kumasi very well, these are major trading hubs in the Kumasi metropolis. And this area where the fire is concentrated is the middle or the center of the central business district, Adum. So for Adum, people are engaged in several, so especially for people who are into second-hand clothing, the cosmetic products, the sale of cosmetic products, the sale of the phone accessories, mobile phones, laptops, computer accessories, and all that. So people come here, a number of people come here in a congested city to at least trade and also go about their duties. So the fire is being contained at the other side of the market. We are seeing the drip equipment, one of the drip equipment that is a water tank that has been or that has brought in water to supply to the water cannon here, which I think is out of water now. It is empty now, I'm told, to be able to continue with the firefighting efforts. Packets of fire at this congested area. But that building, concentration is now there. The fire officers are making frantic efforts to try and contain the situation. So that is the situation we are seeing now. For those joining us now on Channel 1 TV, this is our of the fire incident that is happening in the middle of the central business district of the Kumasi metropolis, and we are bringing to you live coverage, live pictures of the incidents here. Several shops. We are unable to tell the exact number of shops or the extent of damage, but fire officers have told us that they have begun investigations into the situation, and they want to ensure that their men are able to control the situation before leaving here completely. But it's not so easy. It's not so easy for the people here. So people are angry. They are not happy about some of the efforts or some of the tenders coming in and are being ineffective, being able to, and they are calling for enhanced measures. People are calling for enhanced measures and advanced measures in controlling incidents like this. They say it is a wake-up call for authorities to try and then maybe provide the Ghana National Fire Service with more equipment, with advanced equipment in fighting fire. So one of the drip machines, which is the water tanker, has come here. So I think they are going to supply the water to the water cannon here.
Right.
And they are trying to see if they can do the connection.
Good stuff. Now, Hafiz, I mean, we are not experts, but it's an observation, and I don't know if you've observed same. It's as though the fire service deals with the major fire, and then when it comes down, it leaves the police cannon to do the mop-up, so that the fire tender or the fire officers move on to other spots where the fire is quite big. Are you observing same?
Exactly. That is what is happening. That is what is happening, Nana. I've observed same. So because of the explosions and the spread of the fire in that building, so fire officers have moved their concentration and their efforts at that area. So, and because they were not getting access from this place to that area, that particular area, they have used the other routes, the Roman Hill area to the Central Market area, and they have placed their water engines or the fire engines from one side of the building and to the middle of the building. And you can see how the fire is, the water is being pumped into the building to try and then control the fire.
Right. So this building, we understand it's a two-story building. You have the ground floor and then the first floor. Are both floors on fire, or is it just the top floor? Because that's where we see the explosions and then the flames going up in the air.
Yes, both have fire.
Both
have
floors are
fire.
fire.
Yes, both have fire. Yes, both have fire. Both have fire, and all the shops. So initially, when the fire had started, or when the fire was coming from the other side of the building, the adjoining shops, owners of adjoining shops, were trying to salvage their wares, but they saw that the fire was spreading rapidly, so they had to leave the scene for safety. So they didn't have any option. Although some of them were able to salvage some of the items or their wares, others could not, because some of the shops are not still open, and sometimes without permission it's difficult for people breaking into some of these shops. But for other shops, even though the owners were not in, some broke into the shops, tried to salvage the wares, and later the owners had come, but with the assistance of the police officers who were here. With the assistance of the police officers who were here. So they were able to break into the shops and remove their items to allow the fire service have access to some of the areas which were, or some of the shops which have been engulfed by the fire.
Very well. Hafiz, are you able to take us round so we can see the action regarding that particular building where the explosions were coming from, and so we can at least follow the process and gauge the progress of the work of the fire service?
Exactly. So we are moving to that end of the fire to get the scene or the pictures of the fire to that particular area. And for this side, the building, this is what it has turned into. So on a normal day, this area will be...
I was just about saying that we're not seeing the explosions as we were seeing earlier, but I think I just saw one. And so clearly it looks like a difficult one for the National Fire Service and, of course, the other security teams that are helping currently at Adum to help douse that fire. But as it is, several shops, several of them have been destroyed by this fire that we're being told started at about 4 a.m. this morning, ravaging shops at the Central Business District of Adum in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Let's bring you some shots or visuals that we took early on in the day so you can appreciate the extent of devastation and of course, the destruction that has happened over the period. So just before Hafiz went off, you saw the buildings that or what is left of the buildings so far. This is what it looked like early on in the day when the fire started, and now it's just being reduced to rubble, basically what we're seeing now. Early on in the day when the fire began and was spreading rapidly amongst the various shops there in Adum. This is an area where you have the second-hand clothes dealers, an area where you have people who sell or deal in cosmetics. Then you have the mobile phone accessories people as well. Now, if you use the Roman Hill area, down that hill is where you have the Chalawati people also. And so you can tell that all these products or wares, highly combustible, and so have contributed to that rapid spread of fire. Just before Hafiz went off, we saw that two-story building where the fire service was now concentrating its firefighting efforts, and of course the explosion from that particular building, and how the flames from the explosion were going up in the air. A major difficulty the fire service has said time and time and again has to do with access to the scenes of fire incidents, because mostly these areas are very congested, and so it proves a bit difficult for the fire engines or the fire tenders to access these incidents, the scenes of these fire incidents, making the firefighting process a bit difficult. Now, we've also seen the masses, the people who have massed up around the scene, and the difficulty or the challenge they are posing to the security officers or officials. At the point we even saw the resistance or the protest in allowing the fire service or the fire engines to make their way to the fire scene. We've heard them actually booing the fire officers because the concern is that the fire officers were unable or did not show up on time, and that if they had, then they could have helped salvage the situation. But of course, we've seen the men. We're told that there's 5 fire tenders currently on hand at the scene, with an extra one, making it 6. The turntable ladder, in addition, making it 6 engines or equipment currently at the scene, helping to douse the fire. And then we've had the Ghana Police Service also augmenting the efforts of the fire service with their water cannon, which you saw there, spraying some water at the fire as well. And so these are pictures from the morning, early on in the morning. Currently, this place has been raised. It does not look the same as it is. And of course, we brought you live pictures for you to appreciate the extent of damage or destruction that this raging inferno has left in its trail. Firefighters still on the scene, helping to douse it entirely. But as you would have it, the fire currently is still on in certain parts of the Adum market. So these are pictures from early on in the day. The situation is happening in Kumasi, the Ashanti regional capital, the central business district in Adum, where we've picked reports that the fire started at about 4 a.m. this dawn, and it's currently still ongoing. It's just about midday. And a few minutes to midday, if you ask me, and the fire is still ongoing. We've seen the difficulty in accessing the fire scene itself. We're told that investigations have already begun. Fortunately, though, we've been told also that there's been no mortalities, and that the casualties that were recorded were 2 individuals, a fire officer and a civilian. For the civilian, we understand some debris fell and hit him on the head, and he has been rushed to the hospital. But for the fire service officer or the firefighter, he suffered an injury to his leg, and so he has been attended to by the Ghana Ambulance Service, who are also on standby, on hand at the scene to provide service whenever same is required. And so the story is that fire has gutted several shops, lots of them at the Central Business District in Adum in the Ashanti Regional Capital. We've seen the regional minister there early on this morning to commiserate, to console the affected traders and, of course, give them some level of assurance. Firefighters still on hand, currently fighting the fire, doing the best they can to stop the fire from its continuous spread. Early on, when we spoke with the fire officer who speaks for the service in the region, he mentioned that the plan was to contain the fire, and so they are circling the area where the fire is so that it does not spread to other buildings, other structures, or other shops. Hafiz Tijani, our Middle Belt Bureau Chief, is joining us once again, this time via telephone, to give us an idea of what has happened so far. So, Hafiz, just before you went off, we established the fact that the fire service officers were now concentrating their efforts on this particular two-story building where we were seeing and hearing the explosions from. Bring us up to speed with what has happened so far. Is there any update that you can share with us?
Well, Nana, like I said, the smoke that is billowing from the building or the fire scene is getting so intense. And visibility is very poor for firefighters to be able to locate the fire to fight it very well. But there are still pockets of fire in the building, the top of the building. That is the concentration now. So the fire tenders or the fire engines are moving away because I'm told they are out of water. They are going to refill and then return to fight the situation here. But I have with me here the Ashanti Regional Director of the Disaster Management Organization, Ms. Frank Diodi. He has been here with his men also helping in the firefighting effort, trying to contain the situation. You are welcome to Channel 1 TV. Thank you very much. So what are we seeing now? What is the concentration now?
Currently looking at the situation, all that we're trying to do is those fires that are still on, the fire service personnel would want to bring the fire under control now. We make sure that it wouldn't extend to the other. You can see that a whole enclave in X circular form. We have those down there and about 3-4 buildings which have close to about 600 shops and over. You can see at the other side where the line of that of Hello FM, we were fortunate. The one before it, the ground floor, the first floor, the third floor was good. But due to panic, people decided to release or take up their goods from the shop. But both top floor and the very one getting to the picture and about, you can see that the last floor, then the last but one floor, they were all affected by the fire. Actually, that is where the fire started, before it got to the back where they sell the spectacles and all that. But the unfortunate thing is, when you assess the whole area and you look at what is down there, it will be very, very extremely difficult for a tender or even a pickup. Even motorists cannot have access down there to that place. And look at the structures that are there, partial wood, metal, but the unfortunate thing is all the products that they are selling there are petroleum products. We have polythene bags, we have sprays, we have that of rubber, and more that you could count of it. You've been here for quite a time, but you could hear at the point the fire will explode, somehow with a huge noise, particularly getting to the footbridge area where the food vendors used to have their gases and all that. So it gives you a rough idea what has gone on there. The challenge that we face from the moment that we got to the scene, you have access to the very place. That is the whole challenge. But now looking at it, what do you see for yourself? You would want to let the fire calm down, then we get down to be able to have a pure assessment, to have a fair view of the happenings that is seen.
So you are part of the Regional Security Council meetings when you go. Do you relay some of these concerns? Because we know this is not the first time
a fire incident is happening, and the challenge has always been access. Do you relay some of these concerns to the city authority?
It's very interesting for you to ask this question. But this is a question that you've asked about 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years ago, that you keep on repeatedly asking from the metro level, among the council that takes decision, things that need to be done, that of Asafo Market. You know, you saw what I went there to do. You know the challenges that we went through. The whole situation is, yes, it's something that we give recommendation, we write, then we talk about. But the challenge that we are having is the traders. You saw how they are talking and how people are insulting that of personnel that we are on the ground working. But the issue is, they are their own, they cause all these problems. Why do we say so? There are access roads that we leave in all these that we do. But the unfortunate thing is, you will come, then you continue to see the encroachment day in and day out. People are doing it overnight. Then you come, touch one, you touch all. And at the end of the day, they will tell you that you are insensitive. But they do forget, should there be any issue like what we are witnessing now, that is the result that we are going to have. So these are things that we have been pushing always. But the fortunate thing is, we have city engineers, we have the other authorities that need to take that action step by step. If those things are not done, and you come to the extent of fighting fire and extent of we managing disaster issues, it becomes a difficult situation. The engineers and the various market authorities are to be up and doing and make sure access road is an access road. They are not just there for fun. They are there for emergency situations. They are there for them to offload heavy duties and all their work. Then leave the road ajar, so that in case of anything, we could come in at any point in time. If we had access to this very place, the fire wouldn't have extended to this area.
So it's a multifaceted issue. So you mentioned about the traders. That can be blamed on attitude. You mentioned about so from where you sit, is it a lack of political will to deal with this, or just attitude of the people?
Let's put all together. Why do I say so? Because you have somebody that you go, that then the call goes to a different end, then people will be calling for you to stop. The people will be asking you. In situations like they don't give you the right questions. The person wouldn't even report to say, I'm in the right of way or sitting in the road. But usually all that they talk of it, they are attacking it. How do we eat? At the end of the day, let's come to what do we see now. This is the question that we need to ask. How do they eat? Because looking at the situation now, it's not when you have the work, then when you are located at a specific place that you could trade. And the fortunate thing is, Kumasi, the central business has been a central attraction. People are coming from all sorts of areas.
Even outside the region.
I grew up here, and I'll tell you, I could go down and tell you the very people that they apply the trade with their mother that they are. There are people that are new in the system. Now and then everybody finds his way that he wants to come and find a place, then get where to trade. These are the challenges that we are facing. And it means, one, the political will, two, authorities and technologies need to sit up. And let's forgo those little things that we take off that cause us all these problems. If you don't handle it from that angle, that is why I talk about these things and I usually go by. We need to attack this or solve this from the military point of view. No mercy for anybody. Let's go by it. The very thing that you are doing is for the good people. If you do that, this is what we are going to witness. It saddens me what I'm seeing here today. It's more than the whole region is in a grief, looking at what has gone on down there. But this could have been prevented. If they're working down there, would understand. If they themselves will understand the work and what authorities are working for them and give them the rule and obey the rules, wouldn't have worked.
Of course, today's incident is a wake-up call. So, what would be the recommendation from NADMO as part of your report you'll be sending? What would be your recommendation? What should be done so we don't wake up, talk about it, go to sleep, and wake up to maybe talk about this again?
It's been the daily routine recommendations that we give. About 3-4 years ago, you saw that we went. Then look at actions that have been put in place. But and the people applying their trade down there. It's a challenge. Haven't you witnessed a second fire incident today? Is it far from what happened? That is a challenge situation. For me as a trader, it's a key thing. It's something that we would want to go by. Then since authorities are face all the rules. As we keep on that we say, we will continue on to let them know the need for right of way, not right of way where pedestrians walking, but a very way which tenders could pass through, and at any point in time, you could just fight incidents like this. If we don't allow for these things to go on, then the recommendations that day in and day out will be put on. You've been coming to the office, you've been talking about this. If I told you to go into your archives, you have answers for all this. The very old ones that we do give them, that at the end of the day, traders are the key people. They should take part for their own good. Then we should have right of way in every market, that you could have a distance at any point in time. When car comes in, we could fight this fire, then we will go. This should be a fire that could have been stopped within 2 hours in the morning. But looking at the nature of the area and how you could not even get access, a motorcycle could not even get access to. That is bringing the extent.
So I know NADMO, you will be doing your access after this.
That you know, we will send to authorities and we will expect the government to come. What are we talking of? Like this. We finish up with the assessment. To get things right, send it to the road. Then that's what happened.
The Ashanti Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Frank Dio, the NADMO. So he has been talking about several other recommendations they have sent to the Regional Security and the Metro Security Council, and even national to at least solve some of these issues, because this is not the first fire incident, and when any fire incident happens, the problem or one of the key recommendations is usually access, how fire or agency service providers are able to have access to these areas. So he says that if there was access, the fire officers would have been able to contain the fire, and it would have been minor. It shouldn't have escalated to this extent. So he's worried about how some of these recommendations are swept under the carpet, they are shelved, and they are not implemented. And he fears that some of these things are just going to be repeating in the wake of this incident, Nana.
Very well, Hafiz. Now let's get back to the building where the firefighting is happening. So the police cannon, the water cannon vehicle, we saw it leave just before you went off. Is it that it's left? Because then the water tanker, as part of the drip equipment, had brought in water. Is it leaving to go assist the firefighters on that building?
Yes, I think they were finding means. They were finding means to unload the water from the drip water tanker, to unload the water from the water tanker into the water cannon before we left to the other side of the building or the schools. But what we are seeing here is that the area is look at
Hello, Hafiz. Hello, Hafiz.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better. I lost you momentarily. If you can rehash that for me.
Yes. So I'm saying that the officers were trying to connect the hose so that they can unload the water or transfer the water into the water cannon, so they can solve the water issue in the water cannon, to continue to help the water cannon continue to douse the fire. What we are seeing here at the other side of the building, where we have the concentration, is that the fire engines, two of them have left. They are out of water,
right.
So they have gone to refill and come back. But one other has come in, and fire officers are still trying to control the situation. But the major challenge now, even though access is still a problem, but the flames have taken over the city, and it is making visibility very, 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 very poor for fire officers to be able to see the extent of the fire, of the exact place where the fire is happening. So that is a challenge now for the fire officers here.
Is the crowd still there, or have they been dispersed by the police and other security agencies?
The police have made efforts, military are making efforts to disperse them, but most of them are adamant. They are not budging. They don't want to move. They are still here in their numbers. People, whether affected or not affected, people are still here. But for the affected, they are still grieving. Those who are not affected, they are only here to catch a glimpse of the incident and passing commentaries on what is happening. And we are seeing also scrap dealers who are also coming around. You know, the usual thing when there's fire, scrap dealers are coming around to also the debris and find so that is what you find here.
Right. Earlier we saw the regional minister, Dr. Frank Amoakohene, at the scene. Were you able to engage him, and what did he say?
Dr. Frank Amoakohene received briefing from the deputy coordinator, security coordinator, regional security coordinator when they arrived at the scene, and the regional police commander and the fire officers who have been deployed there. He received some briefing from them. He was taking around the affected areas and the affected buildings. And then we tried engaging him, but he declined. He declined on this matter. We were told that he was supposed to, because the president is in town, so he has to meet the president so they can go about the itinerary of the president. So he left the scene. But we are informed that the regional minister is going to come back to assess the situation proper and give us or maybe as far as the incident is concerned now.
Very well, Hafi. So the firefighting is still ongoing. We understand that concentration is on one of the buildings where we're seeing explosions come from early on. The explosions still happening, or has it stopped now?
No, it has stopped. Just that you have a fire around the place. And I showed this on TV. I just saw a signpost that has an inscription: trading here is prohibited. Offenders will be prosecuted. And this is a signpost by the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. But right underneath the signpost, people are trading. And it would tell this is a concern from NADMO, from the Ghana National Fire Service, from the other authorities on how access has become a challenge. People are taking over pavements to engage in all sorts of trading activities, and the congestion of the city is becoming so difficult and making the city so congested, and access usually becoming a problem when there are some incidents like what is happening today. So the NADMO is raising the same concern, and people are just trading anyhow, not able to be cleared by the city authorities. Usually there are efforts to clear, and these efforts are made when the traders are cleared, or when some of these illegal structures are cleared. In the span of a week, you see them re-erecting or coming back to these areas, and it has times commuters or people who use the pathways have difficulty even moving through the central business district to carry out their own activities. And it's not a very good situation from the authorities and also people who are concerned.
For the buildings around that have not been affected, and from where you stand, are you able to see, or are you in a position to tell whether the shops in those buildings that have not been affected are open?
Some are open, others are not. Yes, some are open. So on the ground floor, most of them came in later because of how the fire was raging at the top. They had to open the shops and then take out some of the waste. But some of the buildings are not still open. We don't know if the owners around or if they have been advised by the fire service not to open because of the situation. We cannot tell, Nana.
Very well, but then what you can tell is that trading is not as brisk as you would expect on a Friday morning in Adum.
Yes, and part of the Roman Hill area, trading has come to a standstill.
What of progress regarding the firefighting itself? Are you able to gauge whether, because earlier on, I think the smokes were blocking the visibility of the firefighters. Has this eased up a bit?
Yes, it's still the same. It's still the same, but the fire officers are still making frantic efforts trying to contain the situation. It's still the same here. The smoke taking over the part of the central business district, and visibility is very, 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 very low. And the fire officers still maneuvering their way though, trying to bring the situation under control. They are still making more and more efforts, but it has not been easy. It's been so hectic, so hectic for the fire officers there.
Well, when you spoke with the PRO for the fire service in the region, he mentioned that they had 5 engines or 5 tenders currently on standby or on hand with doing the fighting, plus 1 a turntable ladder. How many do you see currently tackling the fire in this particular building?
So 2 of the tenders have left here. It's only 1 that is here, where the fire officers are trying to contain the situation. It's only 1 that is here. So they are trying to locate an exact route where they can go at the top of the building to place their hose there and then get the fire down. But it's not been easy. It's not been easy. So the debris that scattered all over. Debris scattered all over the place. Debris scattered all over the place. You see.
But do you see the police water cannon and then the tanker that's supposedly brought water to the scene?
Okay, so that is at the other side of the LOFM building. I've come to the Roman Hill area of the central market where the concentration was on that shop. So because of the smoke that is billowing from the building, it's not easy. It's not easy for them. Fire officers are not able to get to the top because that's where the main concentration is. They are not able to get to the top of the building, and there are pockets of fire. There are pockets of fire at the very top of that building. So they are trying to locate a place, a route where they can at least get to contain the spread. But the smoke is making it so difficult for them. But fire officer is still making enough effort. Is trying to get close to see the exact damage. Trying to get close to see what is happening at the scene of the incident. So the debris just all over here. Okay, so the turntable, the fire that has the fire engine, the turntable ladder that has been situated at the area where you have the second phase of the central market. So part of the cordon off area, the barricade has also been affected. Part of the barricade has also been affected. So because the traders trade on the pavement, so most of the goods on the pavement have also been affected.
Right.
I can see bent tubers of yam lying all over here. and other wares lying over here. And then the barricade is so dark, and the fire engine, one of the fire engines have been stationed there so that it doesn't get to the project. It doesn't get to the project site. So that is what we are experiencing currently.
Right. Do you see any activity by the fire officers aside the one tender that is currently left to fight that of this particular building? Is there any other activity in other affected areas? Is there some mopping up ongoing?
Yes. So the concentration now is still on this particular building at the top floor where they are not able to access. But the other concentration is on the pockets of fire at the other end of the incident or the market. So that is where they are trying to contain the pockets of fire so that it doesn't spread also to other structures. So that's the concentration. But more of the concentration is on the top of this building, which is close to the project site of the Central Market, phase 2 of the Central Market project. And that is what is being done currently.
The gentleman you spoke with earlier raised some allegations that the officers that came had gone to protect the new project. What's the proximity between the new project and this one? How close is it?
Well, very close. It's just a stone's throw. Very close, Anna. Very close.
And
very
so there's
close.
a possibility of it being affected by this fire if it's allowed to spread.
Yes, even part of the to see that there are dark spots as a result of the smoke from on the barricades that have been erected at the construction site, and then the debris because they chew some of the materials, and because people trade at these areas, the fire spread. Where I told you about the fence tubers of yam, all of that are lying at the main entrance of the construction site. They going into the construction. Okay, so we have someone who was doing poultry. All of them have been burnt. So the cage here, a cage, poultry in the cage, all of them charred particles of poultry that are sold here. All of them that have gone into ashes. And for the construction site, is very close, and the construction workers have come out. So that will inform the main reason why the contractors also help in the firefighting efforts.
Right. So that means that currently, even at the construction site, there is no activity?
No, there's no activity. No activity. The workers are currently relocating the debris or trying to fix the debris here that have piled up at the entrance of their site. They are trying to clear all of the debris over here that have been piled up at the site here.
Right. Do we have any update on the civilian who was injured?
Well, we are yet to get to the ambulance service personnel to speak to them because they had taken charge of that. When the incident happened, when we came in the morning, we didn't see the presence of them. But because of how the situation was getting intense, there was a need with a coordinated effort to bring them in so that if there are some incidents of this sort, they are able to solve this thing. And when they came in here, we were told that there are some casualty or some kind of injuries where they had to take care of.
And this has to do with one fire officer and one civilian.
Exactly, but we don't know if there could be more. But we'll be speaking to the Ghana National or the National Ambulance Service personnel, the ambulance service personnel, to get them to tell us how many people have been injured, so that we will be able to get the firm grip of the numbers. But for now, we only know of 2, which have been confirmed by the CRO of the National Service, Ghana National Fire Service in the Ashanti region, who confirmed this to us. So the fire at the building is still the focus, but it's not so easy for the fire officers here, who are still trying their best to get this done. Who are still trying to get their. So the Electricity Company of Ghana, they have also come here to disconnect this area. So there's no electricity, there's no power. This enclave, this part of the metropolis, there's no power here. The Electricity Company of Ghana has come to at least disconnect power so that it doesn't result into any unforeseen happening.
Very well. And then you also mentioned that some arrests have been made. Do we have a figure? And these people, well, you say allegedly were looting?
Yes, I have seen police officers pick up about 5 people who were all in cuffs. They were taken away because they took advantage of the situation. They took advantage of the situation to loot some of the items that were being salvaged or evacuated from the shops. And they had to pick them up. But we'll be speaking to the police to get an exact figure of or whether there are going to be some charges against them.
Very well, Hafiz. Thank you so much. We'll be coming back to you for some updates as and when. But thank you so much. Hafiz Tijani is our Middle Belt Bureau chief. He's been leading that team there, currently on the grounds at the scene of the fire in Adum, the Central Business District, where several shops have been gutted by fire that we are being told started at about 4 a.m. This morning. Firefighters are currently on the scene. It's a coordinated joint effort from National Security, Ghana Police Service, Ghana National Fire Service, the military, the ambulance service, all of them currently present and stationed at the fire scene to help protect lives and, of course, whatever it is that is left regarding property after fire destroyed several shops at Adum this morning. We've been bringing you a special coverage, a live coverage of that ravaging inferno through the Central Business District of Adum in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. My name is Nanatufo Boating. Early on, David Kwekusechi and Jifakedi Akutu were on Breakfast Daily and brought you live pictures from the Central Business District. Stay with us here on Channel 1 Television. We'll be bringing you updates in our subsequent programming. Thank you for your time and do have a good afternoon.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration. From the beach to your home, in every corner of your world, Piva Drink adds a burst of refreshment.
Give me Piva cocktail and tangerine.
Celebrate every moment with Piva Drink. Refreshment for every occasion. Piva Drink, a taste you will love.
P for Piva.
This advert is FDA approved.
Paying for your Showmax is easy. Just choose your preferred payment method from these easy and convenient options. MTN Momo, Visa or MasterCard, Showmax vouchers at DSTV or GoTV sales agents, or use a promo code. Enter your payment details and hit submit. Showmax, pay easy, stream easy.
From 2012. We have gathered for new wine. 13 years later, Levites gather. It's time to be refreshed, renewed, and poured out. Ladies and gentlemen, MOG Music presents New Wine 2025. Theme, Back to the Basics. Venue, First Love Center. Encounter true power with ministrations from Joe Metal, Kwame Jedu, Reverend Barry Nikwe, Pastor Isaiah, and Obapa Christie. Date, 30th March. Time, 5 p.m. Rates, single, 100 Ghana cedis. VIP, 200 Ghana cedis. Family of 5, 450 Ghana cedis. Sponsors, Omni Basic Bank, Secure Sanitary Pad, E-Transact, Knowledge Tree International, Tank Palace Hotel, and Oasis Studios. Media partners, your ticket awaits you. Get it now. Dial *389 *777 # or visit Airport Shell, Community 11 Shell, Bachana Total, Royal House, and First Love Center. Let the Levites arise in this generation. We're going back to the basics. Ready?
In a fast-growing urban environment like Accra, safety is as important as the air that we breathe. Hear the real stories from those who now feel safe like never before with Response One.
Hello Ghana, I'm Tommy Ananforson. Our homes are our sanctuary. But safety is not all about locks, fences, and cameras. This is where Response One comes in. Their advanced monitored alarm system just doesn't record crime, it prevents it. In moments of danger, Response One's 24/7 monitoring ensures immediate help. With their theft protection guarantee, this is true peace of mind. I trust Response One to keep my family safe. You should too. Visit responseoneghana.com or call 0302 Secure 1.
Response One. Stay connected, stay protected.
Have you ever wondered how newspapers make their way from the printing press to the newsstand? One major distribution point is the Orion Cinema area at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, known as a hub for newspaper distribution. Every morning, vendors gather there to collect their stock. Frequent newspaper reviews and the proliferation of online news platforms are often blamed for the steep decline in print newspaper sales. Kwame Nyame, a vendor with 45 years in the business, confirms this concern. He suggests that media houses should consider airing newspaper reviews in the afternoon rather than in the morning.
The media for you say the way we review and around 6 to 7. I stop around 2 and now 1 but because social media they say I say Adum I say Adum I say there's a ban be one the any graphic baby wow until yesterday wait me anka stop because you can't be one for be my wow but once we say they say I say media no graphic I say first no I mean probably 200 graphic bear 300-400 a day. But I say graphic what the graphic 50 graphic
William Odame, who has been in the business since 1989, points to rising production costs as another blow to vendors. These costs force publishers to increase cover prices, discouraging buyers. Due to dwindling sales, He now supplements his income by selling lotto papers.
If you are a vendor and then you want to take care of your children or you want to take care of your work so that you will not fall in debt, you have to sell several papers, including lotto papers, writing banker to banker and other things, so that you combine all the profits. If you have a profit motivation, then you can earn up your living. If you lose, I don't think the debtors will come to you and then they will all collect their money from you and you'll be hot. Sometimes, if there is newspapers. Formerly, we are not writing banker to banker on our table, so we don't sell lotto papers formally. Some are Christians and they